have never fixed something, and once you leave it, it comes back again. This is what happened with Adam. Welcome to Scream of the Dark. Far from the city, nestled deep in a remote countryside village, stood a house that the locals only referred to as House Number 9. No one went near it, not in the daylight, not during storms, not even out of curiosity. It wasn't just fear. It was something deeper, something primal. They didn't even talk about it, as if saying its name too many times might wake something up. But Adam, a 35-year-old restoration worker, didn't believe in village superstitions. When he got an offer to restore the house for a massive payment, he didn't hesitate. 3 men had tried before him and vanished, so the story went, but he figured they ran off or just quit. He arrived in the village with his small truck, tools in the back, and a week's worth of food. The townsfolk didn't say much when he told them where he was going. They just looked away. The house was massive, 3 floors, arched windows, a decaying garden gate, and moss creeping up the bricks. It looked like it hadn't been touched in decades. The front door was chained shut, but oddly enough, a key lay under the doormat. That should have been the first red flag. Day 1. The moment he stepped in, the air grew heavy, like breathing through wet cloth. The rooms were strangely intact, dusty but preserved. Cups still sat on the table, a jacket on a coat hanger. A rusted radio hummed with static, as if someone had just left seconds ago. That night, Adam chose to sleep downstairs. But around 2 a.m., he awoke to footsteps overhead. Not creaking wood, but actual footsteps. He grabbed his flashlight and went upstairs. Everything was untouched. He walked to the 3rd floor, but the door to it was locked, and it sounded like someone had just moved on the other side. Day 2. He began repairs, replacing wood panels, scrubbing walls, clearing debris. But by the time he circled back, everything was exactly how it was before. Paint cracked again, nails pulled loose, even boards he'd hammered in were now crooked or missing. That night he left a camera running and the lights on. In the morning he reviewed the footage. At 3:16 a.m., the camera caught a shadow crossing the room. A tall, humanoid figure, but no sound. The lights dimmed on their own. The camera turned slightly, then shut off. Day 3. Adam decided to force open the 3rd floor door. He used a crowbar and brute strength. Behind it was a narrow hallway, cold as a freezer. At the end, one single door. The air smelled like damp paper and rusted blood. He opened it slowly. Inside was a single wooden chair, and on top of it, a black-clothed figure covered in a thick sheet like a statue or mannequin. No eyes, no face, just stillness. He approached, hand trembling, and touched the cloth. The door slammed shut behind him, the lights went out, and in the dark, a dozen voices whispered his name. When the light returned, the chair was empty. On the wall behind it, written in deep scratches, "Those who enter here never leave." Day 4. Adam was changing, his eyes sunken, his voice weak. He spoke to himself constantly, said he couldn't sleep anymore because he was watching. Every night he heard footsteps pacing his room, sometimes breathing, sometimes scratching. The cabin he rented nearby began to decay, just like the house. Mold on the walls, floorboards warping. On the mirror, someone wrote in fog, "You are one of us now." Day 5. Adam tried to leave. Got into his truck. Drove for hours. But every road looped back to the house. He passed the same dead tree 5 times. When he stopped to ask for directions, there was no one left in the village. At sunset, he was standing in front of the house again. And this time, the front door was wide open and the statue was sitting in the doorway. Day 6, at 2:47 a.m., an explosion echoed from the woods near the house. No one in the village went to check. They knew better. The next morning, the house stood perfectly still. Nothing damaged, nothing changed. But that evening, a new man arrived. Same truck, same tools, same haircut, same face. But this wasn't Adam. At least, not the one who arrived 15 days ago. And from one of the top windows, something watched him, smiling. What would you do if you entered a place that wouldn't let you leave? Do you think Adam ever really left? Or was the man at the end just another version of him? Let me know in the comments. Would you dare stay one night in house number 9? And if you were Adam, would you have opened that third floor door? Drop your theories below, like the video if it gave you chills. And don't forget to subscribe, because in this channel, some doors should never be opened.